Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn to Page 9, The Knight in Screaming Armor, with Rhapsody and me.
The Knight in Screaming Armor, and the Skarmory in Screaming Armor, and the moon behind them, presumably also in Screaming Armor. We can't see, it's just turned around to the other side.
It's true. And a horse in some armor, but the horse looks pretty scared. But yeah, we'll paint the picture. It is a knight in screaming armor. The knight themselves is screaming.
Mm-hmm.
They're on a horse, clad in red armor. Kind of just looks like a normal horse who's not really wanting to be a part of this. And in the background, a small bird, similarly clad in full armor. I love them. I want to protect them, but they have enough protection already as they are fully clad in armor as a bird.
Yeah, they do kind of look like they've gone through like a robotification ray, a la like Ratchet and Clank or something like that. I will say as well, we have the knight in screaming armor, and then we have the horse in sedate armor, who itself is screaming. So we have the screaming horse in armor and the knight in screaming armor.
Absolutely.
What a pair they make.
I'm lost, but also birds have hollow bones so that they can stay in the air. You know, like they needed such a small amount of weight that they're like, I'm gonna hollow out my bones.
Mm-hmm.
So how is this bird afloat in any armor? This is truly the most unrealistic thing that has happened in Goosebumps. There's no way that a bird is supposed to fly. B-movie, something like that.
Yeah, in none of the Pokemon like sprites for Skarmory did they have them in the sky. They always cleverly put Skarmory on the ground because they know that dude can't fly. He's got wings, but they're vestigial.
It's fake. It's fake. Yep.
They're painted on.
I think that there is. I don't want to ruin the joke, but I do want to make sure that it is known that I think there is one where Skarmory is like floating off the ground. I think it's when it gets in 3D. But I will say, can't
non-canon.
Prove that there's no strings. Non-canon.
Exactly. Can't prove there's no strings, and there's strings, and that's canon. And also, that game wasn't canon, and the director was fired shortly afterwards.
Yeah, Pokemon Puzzle League is canon. Everything else is fake.
Do you want to hear a little more about the canon of this book?
Yes, your segue is way better than mine.
I had the benefit of hearing yours and preparing mine in my head at the same time. Beware! Do not read this book from beginning to end. Prepare yourself to meet the knight in screaming armor. Your cousins are coming to visit you from England. They're bringing someone with them. Something with them, rather. A little surprise. It's an old suit of armor from your uncle's collection. It has a really cool battle axe and a shield. And it has something else too. Orders to destroy you. You see, there's an ancient curse that was placed upon your family and the knight is here to deliver it. And that's not all. A ghastly looking gardener with 3 heads, mudslinging monsters made of goo, and some very nasty sheep are all headed your way. This scary adventure is all about you. You decide what will happen, and you decide how terrifying the scares will be.
There's always one in the Beware page.
Mm-hmm.
All of this standard fare, demon knight off to get you, mudslinging monsters made of goo, ghastly gardener 3 heads, and some fairly nasty sheep.
Mm-hmm.
just like also some sheep that are nasty. All right, deal with it.
It's got that kind of like ABC setup of like, you will be fired, you will be reprimanded, and murdered. It's like, what? Huh? Hang on.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this is our cousins are just coming to visit us from England, and they're also bringing a suit of armor that has orders to kill us. Just casually.
I've seen a plane. There's no way if it's clad in armor it can fly. It's not.
They had to hollow those planes out so they can actually go in the air. This just wouldn't work. Something B movie.
Exactly. Something B movie. Yeah, I was about to. I think you've hit the same. I think you've hit page 1, haven't you?
I may well have turned to page 1 here.
I think you maybe have turned to page 1 because I turned to page 1 and I already saw what you're about to have to say.
Let us begin. Pip pip, ta-ta, jolly good, tally-ho and all that rot.
Your dad exclaims.
Dad!
You plead.
Please! So sorry.
He apologizes in his best British accent.
We just want your cousins to feel quite at home now, don't we? It's not every day to have visitors from old England. It's been over a year since we've seen them. Jolly good, ta-ta, Pippi.
Your dad says again.
Yeah.
Your mom adds.
Your Uncle Will is giving lectures at several important American museums, so Kip and Abby will be staying with us for a whole week. Isn't that terrific?
You only half agree. Kip Saxton is your age. Sometimes he complains too much, but mostly he's a pretty cool kid. His 15-year-old sister is another story.
Abby acts like she's the queen of the world.
You say.
She can be a royal pain. Oh, you'll have fun.
Your dad assures you.
Uncle Will and Kip and Abby are bringing a big surprise with them. A surprise?
You ask.
What surprise?
Go to page 2. Before your dad can say another word about the surprise, the doorbell rings.
They're here.
Your mom calls from the front hall. She opens the door as the airport shuttle van pulls away. Your cousins are standing in the doorway.
You haven't changed a bit.
Your mom declares as she hugs Abby and Kip.
I hope that's not true.
You mutter. Your tall blonde cousin is already staring past you and into the mirror behind you.
Hi.
You manage to say to her. Abby primps her long golden curls before she answers.
Oh, hi.
She says as she pats her hair about 100 times.
Still the same old Abby.
You have to admit.
Forget her.
Someone says, laughing. It's Kip.
Can you give me a hand? I've got more stuff to bring in.
Your sandy-haired cousin moves back out onto the front step and points to 2 huge wooden crates. The crates are taller than your dad.
What the?
You start to say.
Artifacts!
Your dad chimes in.
Uncle Will is coming here to the next... Whoa, sorry. Uncle Will is coming here next week to lecture at the medieval museum downtown. I told him we'd store some exhibits here until he arrives, but I never expected anything this big. The crates will have to go in the garage. Dad! Pick an accent! What's in those crates anyway?
You ask Kip. All right, there's a lore reason why the freaking boo plot elements.
He
like
does
making funny.
He doesn't know which of the ones he wants to go for at that point. 2 suits of armor.
Kip says.
That's what's in the crates. They're really old, from the 15th century. We call one of them the Evil Knight. He's been with the Saxton family forever. The other suit was Sir Edmund Saxton's. He's our great. Oh, well, you get the picture.
The crates are on wheels. You, Kip, and Abby, and your dad pull them down the driveway to the garage behind your house. You notice a label on one of the crates.
Hey, look at this.
You cry. You read the label out loud.
Beware this dark and evil knight, cursed still from long ago. Until a good knight fights for right, this night brings misery and woe. That's kind of spooky.
You add.
No, don't read that aloud.
Kip cautions too late.
No, it's an evil curse for old Saxton family. A curse? You don't believe in curses, do you? Sure I do. And so should you if you know what's good for you.
Kip whispers.
I guess you've never heard the tale.
Listen to the tale on page 4.
The tale? What tale?
You ask.
The legend of the curse of the knight in screaming armor.
Kip answers.
Years ago, an evil sorceress got angry at the king's best knight, Sir Edmund Saxton, our ancestor. He killed a favourite dragon or something. Anyway, she put a curse on him. The curse of the knight in screaming armour. She made him a special suit of armour and sent it to him as a gift. The armour was haunted. It held the spirit of an evil knight. That night, horrible screams and cries were heard in the Saxton castle. In the morning, Sir Edmund and all of his family had been killed.
Kip's eyes grow wide as he goes on.
All of his family was dead except one son. He'd been out hunting. Anyway, he kept the armour. He was too scared to throw it away.
The four of you arrive at the garage and your dad reaches down to open the door.
This is that armour. Family legend has it that one day it will wake again, thirsty for Saxon blood. Then it will destroy all that is good. Unless a brave and noble Saxon can defeat it, it has to be a member of the Saxton family. I'm related to you, so I am a Saxton. What's an evil knight's suit of armor gonna do to me?
Get your answer on page 96.
You can just forget about the screaming armor story.
Abby snaps before Kip gets a chance to answer you.
It's totally stupid and not even true.
That's convenient. Be a quick book then. But long after everyone has gone to sleep, you lie awake thinking about the crates in your garage. Hours later, you've dozed off when you're awakened by a chilling scream, and it's coming from the garage.
The curse.
You gasp. That's how I wake up in the middle of the night too. Just I hear the other night when there was a glass left on the side of the tub, and then when my cats knocked it in and it shattered in the tub.
The curse.
I woke up. The curse. Yes.
It's finally here.
It's here. The curse of the cats.
Now,
you try and ignore the scream. Yes?
Yeah, in that instance, did you ignore the scream
Yes.
or did you investigate the chilling shriek?
Oh, in that instance, I did investigate because it was, when you hear glass shattering in the middle of the night, usually I feel like there's certain levels of, okay, I'll get out of bed and check. I feel like glass shattering is, I should make sure that wasn't a window.
Yeah, that's one of the last sounds you hear in Project Zomboid, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. That's how I live my life. Is just, have I died after this sound in Project Zomboid? If so, I should get up. So, but hey, it's a pretty small amount of noises.
Let's investigate
that.
that
One of them.
chilling shriek.
Yeah, let's do it. This better not be an end. Okay. Well, 19. Another shriek fills the night. Kip and Abby are as wide awake as you are. The piercing screams draw the three of you together at your bedside. You grab each of your cousins by the hand.
We have to go out to the garage and investigate.
You declare.
We have to find out what's there.
Another scream pierces the air. Abby forgets how much cooler than you she is for a moment and clutches one of your arms. Hey, that just makes it seem like it's canon that she's cooler than us. That's not fair. Kip grabs your other one. You grab a flashlight from your desk and make your way out into the night. You pull your cousins along behind you. Eventually, you come to the garage door. You pause a moment and listen to the screams.
Well, here goes.
You say. You reach down, grab the handle, and lift it open. Turn to page 113. The garage door swings up and out of your way. Dark was never as dark as this. Monsters seem to lurk in every corner. Familiar forms look strange. The beam of your flashlight cuts past the frightful, shadowy figures to the two crates. They stand like tombstones in the middle of the garage, except one of them is vibrating, shaking back and forth. The light reflects off a label on one of the crates, the one with the curse on it. Then you notice another handwritten label near the top of each crate. One says Evil Night, the other reads Good Night.
Now, I know it seems obvious, but which one should we open?
Important to note that it doesn't say. It's obvious. Just, gee, you say nervously.
Neither!
Kip replies, he seems terrified. Maybe a little too terrified. You're not sure if you buy all this cursed stuff. Maybe it's all a big trick. Kip and Abby could have gotten someone to shout and shake the crate around. Who's really in that evil night crate anyway, you wonder? Then again, those screams do sound pretty spooky. Maybe you should play it safe and open the crate marked Good Night. A suit of armor could come in handy if there is some crazy curse. I mean, if you open the Good Night, page 33, if you open up the Evil Night, page 49. I mean, is it
I don't think
seems
it's
a little too
juking us
obvious.
this early. I think we need to go to page 33. Equip ourselves.
I like it. I mean, yeah, maybe it'll be one of those things where it's like, if you got the armor, you don't die.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 33.
We'll open the Goodnight crate.
You decide. You don't want to take any chances, but as soon as you say this, an ear-splitting scream fills the garage. The Evil Night crate starts rattling again. The armor inside clanks and rumbles and roars. You cling to Kip, or is it Abby? It's hard to tell in the darkness. The tall Evil Night crate rocks closer to you. It tips backwards and forward, backwards and forward. If it falls on you, you will be crushed. You try and pull your cousins out of the way.
Let's bail!
You yell, but you only get a few steps towards the garage door when something blocks your escape route.
An horrible beast!
Kip cries.
Ah!
Abby screams as she's jerked away from your side. You accidentally drop your flashlight and it hits the concrete floor with a smack.
There's something wrapped around my leg!
Abby wails.
Abby!
You shout across to her. You start to move to her side, but you feel sharp claws scrape across your cheek. Hurry to page 15.
So, basically, we don't get any interaction with the Goodnight crate. Like, the first sentence is, we'll open the Goodnight crate. All of the rest of it is interactions with Bad Night crate.
Yeah. Interesting.
I wonder, would the other one have allowed us to approach?
Going for Evil Night lets you get the Good Night. Going for, yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe we'll just die and we'll go find out. But alas, what is it, page 15?
Yes, it is.
You jump back and grab your cheek where the claws scraped you. You feel a large welt. You turn away from Abby and grope along the wall until you find the light switch. Click. One bare bulb hanging from the ceiling floods the garage with a dim light. Suddenly, everything gets quiet. Now you see it. The monster blocking your escape route is a lawnmower. The sharp-nailed fingers that raked across your cheek are exactly what they felt like. A garden rake. And the snake coiled so tightly around Abby's legs is a hose.
I knew it all along.
Abby says as she throws the hose aside.
This whole thing is ridiculous.
Obviously, the rake screamed. I mean, but it isn't over yet. Whatever is in the Evil Knight's crate demands your attention. The crate lurches forward, knocking Abby to the ground.
A contextless E. Oh my god. Okay, well, sure. This next choice is going to be fun.
All right. The hanging light bulb starts to spin. Kip struggles to lift his sister to her feet. He looks really scared now. It's going to be up to you to do something. But what? Should you open the Evil Night crate and confront the enemy, whatever it is? Or maybe it's all just a practical joke. You wouldn't put it past Kip, would you? Then again, maybe there really is a curse. If there is, whatever's in the crate marked Goodnight could help you. You better open one of them. Which should it be?
I think we have to double down.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I will say 33 was the other Goodnight page.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Evil Night page is the same as the prior Evil Night page.
Yes, it is.
Worth. So I'm happy to double down at the very least to see how that will kill us.
We have to free the Goodnight.
You yell over the screams and the heavy clanking.
Maybe it can help us fight the curse. But
Kip sputters fearfully.
Just open the thing.
Abby snaps.
And get it over with.
Your fingers fly over the buckled leather straps that hold the crate closed.
I've got this strap at the bottom.
Kip says, moving in next to you. Abby just watches you work. You and Kip work together to pry open one side of the crate. The clanking is louder than ever as the crate door slams to the floor. You pick up your flashlight and shine it inside. Abby is the first to gasp. Turn to page 50. You peer into the open crate. There's a flash of light. And then...
There's nothing in this crate!
You exclaim.
I thought you said there was armor in here. There was.
Abby huffs, acting cool again.
But now it's gone, okay? Oh, it's impossible.
Kip argues.
This crate weighed a ton when we moved it in here.
Abby glances back at the empty crate.
Someone must have taken the armor, that's all, for crying out loud.
Oops, wrong thing to say. The bone-chilling scream of the evil knight turns to hideous, wicked laughter.
It's the curse! The evil knight killed Sir Edmund Saxton and now he's taken his armor! What's next?
You say in disbelief.
Or who?
Then you see something. There, resting on the floor of the crate, a jagged piece of parchment paper. Do you pick it up? The cursed thing is seeming less and less silly by the second.
Masterful.
If you pick up the paper and see what it says, turn to page 70. If you decide this whole business is too weird for your taste, and it's time to close the crate back up again and call the police, turn to page 9. Oh. No.
Absolutely not. I'll take my chances with the evil knight who killed Sir Edmund Saxton, please.
Yeah. All right. You bend down and pick up the jagged-edged piece of parchment. There's writing on it.
Hey, look what I found.
You exclaim.
It's a note, or a piece of one.
You read it.
Only a knight and Saxton born can break the curse that we now mourn. But they who wear Sir Edmund's steel must prove their courage and strength are real. Before the break of day brings light, one good shall fight one evil knight. That's funny. It sounds like a challenge. How boring.
Abby complains.
They who wear Sir Edmund's steel. What do you think that means? The armor.
Yeah. What could that mean? Kip replies.
The armor. Obviously, it's Sir Edmund's armor. But it's gone.
You point out.
That scrap of paper looks like it's been torn from something.
Kip adds.
If we can find more pieces of the poem, maybe we can figure out where the missing armor is. It's like a puzzle. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Abby says. Then she rubs her temples.
I'm sleepy.
Kip yawns a big yawn. You feel it, too. An overwhelming urge to fall asleep. You let yourself curl up on the floor, and if you wake up and are with your cousins, turn to page 20. If you wake up alone, turn to page 47. This feels like one of the first times we're in control of something that we can't possibly be in control of.
Yeah, exactly.
If you wake up and you're with your cousins.
Whether or not they continue to exist. I gotta say, I think we have a little bit of a hint here, and I think our ability to attempt to prove our courage may be asking us to go at this alone.
It totally could. My only fear is it is the way of less voices.
Fair point, well made.
Verily, I shall not make the call as a result.
Yeah, I think we should wake up all alone. I think that's...
Okay.
We're kind of splitting up effectively as well to try and find more pieces of the poem.
It's true. All right. You wake up all right, but the minute you open your eyes, you know something is wrong. Very wrong. It's dark all around you. You have no idea where you are, and even if you could see, your head feels too heavy to turn and glance around.
Kip? Abby?
You call out. Your own voice echoes back at you. You try and lift your head and can't budge it. Try and move your leg, but you can't. Your heart starts to race.
Kip! Abby!
You yell this time, but there's nothing. Only the feeling that you are trapped, weighted down. Your skin feels coated with something heavy and hard, like iron or like...
A suit of armor!
You scream. You hear the blood rushing in your ears, or is it laughter? Now you remember everything. You were feeling so sleepy, but before you fell asleep, the evil knight's voice filled your head.
Be all the evil you can be. Join my army.
While you slept, the evil knight made you one of his evil guards. You'll have to serve his evil wishes for the rest of your little evil life. The end. Oh my. I mean, it's not that bad.
I mean, we
Evil
don't
is
know
subjective.
it might just be the knight from, like, town evil, right? Like, we don't necessarily know that they are doing evil. All they've done so far is imprison a child in a suit of armor.
Yeah.
What's so wrong with that?
And maybe they deserved it. Maybe we were maybe we were bad. But yeah, I think it's just first name evil, last name knight. I don't think it's me, evil knight, like Gladys Knight. It's just.
Yeah, I like it. It's just completely not a problem whatsoever. And the good knight, as it turns out, actually fights for the evil force of GOOD, the
Exactly.
geriatric oppressors of
Dogs.
Can't believe
They're
it.
True evil.
Down at the park,
That's
yelling
the
at
way
him
to get true
constantly.
evil.
I think we need to
Let's
wake up with our cousins.
Page 20. All right. You wake up. The last thing you remember is finding a piece of parchment that said,
Before the break of day brings light, one good shall fight one evil knight.
You rub your eyes to clear the sleep out of them. You see Kip and Abby, but you're not in the garage anymore. Bare bulb hangs from a wire in the ceiling. It casts a sickly yellow-brown tint over an enormous cavern of a room. The walls and ceiling are the color of mud.
At least we're still together.
You say.
But where are we?
Abby asks.
Hello? Is anyone there?
No one answers. The air is musty and stale. Reminds you of something. In fact, it's just like the air in the old museum you went to on a school field trip last month. Then you see the muddy sign on the wall. The medieval museum.
Hey!
You shout excitedly.
We're downtown. This is the museum where your dad is supposed to speak next week. Museum?
Abby shoots back to you.
There's nothing here at...
Her mouth is open when a great splat of mud hits her right in the face. Thwack. Follow this dirty business to page 12. How do we fall asleep and wake up at the museum? Oh my.
This must be the evil sheep we've heard so much about.
Yeah, this must be the evil sheep. The nasty, nasty sheep. Abby sputters as she wipes globs of thick brown mud from her mouth and eyes. Now she sees what you and Kip already see. The walls are alive. Short, square-bodied mud beasts step out from the dirt-colored walls. They start flinging handfuls of thick, oozing mud. A glob catches you in the ear. Thwank. Thwank? Thwank? That's mud
Thwank.
sound. Thwank. Thwank. A fistful of the well-packed mud covers Kip's sandy hair and slides down over his eyes.
What's happening?
Kip cries. Thwap! But again comes an answer in the form of a special delivery mudogram. The oozy mud in your ears starts to harden and crack. You rip at it with your fingers. You want to hit me with this one?
Scoinch!
You're caught in the stomach by another mud glob. It hardens on contact, which makes it difficult to breathe. You've got to get out of here. The mudslingers, proper noun, the mudslingers, gang up on Abby. They swing their gorilla arms and pack more solid mud balls to throw at her.
Ah!
Abby sobs as one hard mud ball nails her in the knee.
Why me? Why me?
She screams, clutching her bashed knee. Turn to page 22. You want to help out Abby. You want to help Abby. Even Albie. She's clutching her knee in agony. But before you can comfort Abby, you've got a new problem of your own. Another mudslinger slides out of the wall and stomps towards you. The broad, blubber-lipped creature is so close you can smell his oozy stench. You cough and sputter. Disgusting streams of muddy liquid ooze from his yellow eyes and flaring nostrils. Right behind him is another mudslinger, and another, and another. If you feel hopelessly walled in by the mound of menacing mudslingers, turn to page 55. If you pull yourself out of this mud mess, turn to page 86. What? Why do we keep getting these choices where it's like, do you want to do the thing that you want, or click this other one?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a trick? I don't know.
This is just like, do you or do you not succeed in this scenario?
I think know. That's
let's pull ourselves out of mud mess.
Succeed? Yeah, let's pull ourselves out of our mud mess so that we can be upset when it kills us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win. There's no way you're just going to stand here and be muddified by a tribe of mudslinging mud monsters.
Come on!
You shout. You duck a far-flung mud pie aimed right for your face.
We're getting out of here! Which way is out?
Abby cries. She throws her hands up and blocks a blob of ooze. As she blocks the blob, you notice a light from the bare bulb swinging right through the mudslinger. Suddenly, an idea clicks in your mind.
I've got a hunch that this is one big, dirty trick being played on us by the evil knight.
You guess?
These mudslingers aren't real. They've been planted in our minds by the powers of the night. The light shines right through them. Just watch.
You reach for the biggest, muddiest mass of glop and grab it by the neck. Your hands sink down into his shoulders. Still, you manage to lift the barrel-bodied beast over your head. If you throw the mud beast up to the light, turn to page 63. If you throw it to the ground, turn to page 29. Again, there's clearly something that the character's trying to do, and I kind of want to yes and.
I do as well, but I do love the idea of going, look, they shine through the light, and then just picking it up and just choke slamming it straight down to the ground. Damn, trying to pin it.
I mean, yeah.
We have to hold it up to the light, though.
We have to obviously hold it up to the light. Unless it's a debate. Your hunch is right. Oh, wow. I wish I could just get that whenever I make any decision. And I just want someone to just be, your hunch was right. Oh, thank you. When you hold the muddy glop up to the light, it disappears. You grab another mudslinger, hold it up, look right through it. It too is gone. Now Kip and Abby are snagging mudmen too. One by one, the grubby gremlins are grabbed and held up into the light. Soon the whole muddy mass of them disappears and the walls turn white. I love the alliteration in that paragraph. You and your cousins fall into a heap on the floor. Kip tries to catch his breath.
Was that close or what? And totally disgusting.
Abby adds.
I appreciate a good mud facial as much as the next girl, but that was ridiculous. It was a pretty dirty trick.
You actually agree with Queen Abby for a change.
But now what? We still haven't found that missing armor. Do we just walk on out of here and go home? You said it, cousin.
Abby's not too worried about any missing suits of armor.
I don't know.
Kip says.
Dad's gonna go berserk when he finds out we lost this Edmund suit. He'll be here next week. If we don't find it, I don't want to be the one to open the door for him. Speaking of doors...
Abby interrupts.
Look over there. There's a whole wall of doors. One of them has to be the way out of this stuffy room.
Turn to page 60. Abby rushes towards the wall of doors. She's about to reach the handle on the first door when her foot slips on something.
Another piece of parchment!
She cries out. You and Kip run to join her. She holds a jagged-edged scrap of parchment in her hands. It's just like the other one you found. She reads it to you.
Beware his deadly charge and feel. And that's it. That's all it says. There's got to be more.
You insist?
Deadly charge. I know about charging things. Sounds like someone's going to be doing some killer shopping.
Abby.
Very funny.
Kip says sarcastically.
Maybe not to a jerk like you.
Abby shoots back.
Oh, yeah?
Kip threatens.
Good comeback.
Abby taunts.
Hey, hold it. Hold it.
You say?
We need to work together here. These scraps of paper are obviously meant to be clues. I have a feeling they'll lead us to the missing armor if we pay attention. Until then, anything could happen.
Beware his deadly charge and feel.
Do we remember what the previous scrap of paper said?
That is a great question.
Because I know that we were repeating in our mind at that point the refrain at the very end about the good knight and the evil knight, and one having to fight the other. But
off
was it
the top of my head?
Yep.
I can read it to you if you'd like. Off the top of my head.
Excellent.
Only a knight and Saxton born can break the curse that we now mourn. But they who wear Sir Edmund's steel must prove their courage and strength are real. Before the break of day brings light, one good shall fight one evil knight. It doesn't sound too
open-ended.
wild. Yeah. I think
that scrap of paper is unrelated to this jagged edge scrap of paper?
No, I think that this is the next line of the poem or whatever.
Oh, okay. So the one good shall fight one evil knight is not the end.
Yeah, there's an ellipses after evil knight, and there's an ellipses before beware the danger. So this comes after. It's one good shall fight one evil knight, beware his deadly charge and feel all right.
Or
right?
we get after this a thing that's before the beware his evil deadly charge.
Oh, that is true. That is true. That is another real possibility. And we were faced with puzzles in the last book, so now there's precedent for actual puzzleage.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And note, we were faced with the first real puzzles and also our first no death run at the same time.
It's true, which we've already failed.
Oh yeah.
But hey. Okay, wait.
We're on page 62.
Page 62. All right. Okay, you take the other scrap of parchment out of your pocket and try and fit the two pieces together. Oh, none of the edges match up.
Never mind that stupid puzzle.
Abby bursts out.
I want out of here now!
Without waiting another second, Abby runs to the other side of the room and tries the knob on the first door. But as she turns it, the door disappears and becomes a solid white wall again. She tries the next door. Gone. And the next one. And the next one. And the next one. Gone, 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 right from under her hand.
If the doors keep disappearing, we'll be stuck in here forever!
Kip says in a panic.
You had to get out!
You shout.
And fast! Look! These walls are closing in on us. We'll be crushed!
Inch by inch, the floor space narrows. The walls are grinding in on your little group.
Try another door, Abby!
Kip screams as the wall behind him pushes against his back.
It's shrinking! We'll be crushed like bugs!
Evil laughter booms through the shrinking room.
He's here!
Abby shrieks.
The knight in screaming armor! He's here!
Squeeze through to page 89. You can't see the evil knight, but you know he's here somewhere. His hideous laughter turns to screams and then back to laughter again. The shrinking room is a tiny torture chamber and then getting tinier by the second. You brace yourself against one of the advancing walls in a frantic attempt to hold it back. You strain against it with all your strength. You yell as your muscles begin to burn and ache.
Try another door, Abby!
You
Quick!
gasp out. But Abby is paralyzed with fear. She doesn't move a muscle. Your ears pushed up against the crushing wall. There's a terrible grinding sound behind it. Your feet start to skid and slip.
The door, Kip! The door!
You scream.
But there are 2 doors left!
Oh my. Kip cries.
Which door should I open? The right one!
You yell back.
Open the right one!
If the door on the right is the right one, turn to page 42. If the door on the left is the right one, turn to page 59. How many of these are we going to get where it's like, because we've not been strayed, we've not been cast astray by doing the thing that it says. But is this the one?
I think that if we go with the right one here, we'll be fine. So we should just pick the right one.
Yeah. But which one's the right one?
No matter what we choose, it's going to be the right one. Even if it's the left one, it's going to be the right one. But I think the right one is definitely the right one.
Absolutely.
Go
Which
to
one's
page
the left
42.
one?
The left one is the other one.
The left one is the other right one. All right. Kip decides the right door is on the the right door is on the right. The handle turns easily under his hand. He pushes the door open with his shoulder and falls through. You grab Abby and throw yourself through the opening just in time. The walls grind together behind you. They make a horrible screech like fingernails across the chalkboard. You cover your ears in pain, but then all is silent. Thank you for not making that sound. Or maybe not quite silent. As your ear becomes accustomed to the quiet, you hear something. It's tickling. Tickling? Ticking. You hear?
Clocks!
Abby shouts gleefully.
Hundreds of them! And they're all different!
The ticking gives way to bongs and cuckoos and chimes of all sorts. The walls around you, the ceiling, even the doors of this new room are covered with clocks of all shapes and sizes. A flashing sign on the wall greets you with the words,
"Take your time leaving." What a relief.
You say.
At least clocks can't hurt us. Right.
Kip agrees.
But with all of them ticking and bonging, gonging and going cuckoo once, it could drive us crazy in no time. Well, that's the one thing there isn't any of here. No time.
Laugh.
Time is all we've got in this place.
Go to page 81.
Look at this one.
Abby calls out. She's pointing to an antique cuckoo clock. Cuckoo. You know, it's like from Zelda. What do you call those? In
Chickens.
Zelda. You just don't. You like. I don't interface.
I bypass
with the
it.
lore. I'm no nerd. I'm no nerd.
Yeah. It's like how I call all anything that would qualify as a roguelike or a roguelite. I call it a board game because screw you. Basically,
it's a roguey.
Yeah, it's a choice not to compete whatsoever. This is a Doom-like.
Exactly. Yeah. This is all right. It's a chicken-like clock standing on the floor in a corner. The clock is mostly black, but its designs are painted with silver, gold, and blue. It's decorated with scrolls, carvings, knobs, buttons, has a white face with gold hands and numbers. You glance at the clock and feel an odd sense of doom about it. You wouldn't be surprised at all if the door opened up and a hideous bird flew out. Something about this clock looks strangely familiar to you. Where have you seen it before? What? If you think you know where you've seen this before, turn to page 46. If another clock hanging on the wall catches your eye instead, turn to page 93. These are some of the strangest choices.
Yeah, I don't think I remember anything related to a cuckoo clock earlier in the story.
Well, that's what I was like, is this the first callback? Is this like gonna be one from the museum in TikTok You're Dead?
I wouldn't be surprised
So
with the
that's
kind of like lining up of the themes here.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't think it is.
I don't recognize it, and I don't like the idea of the kind of like meta of like the player might recognize it. We'll see if we go there, and then whether or not that triggers us recognizing it. I think we just have another one that catches our eye.
Yeah, I think maybe it's like if you remember this from that book, pick this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's go 93. So maybe because there's a chance that I think it's from that, and then it's like, oh well, you saw it earlier in this place, which we didn't go to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm good with 93. The antique chicken-like clock is in the corner is strange, but it's nothing compared to the clock hanging on the wall next to it.
This clock looks like it's something from the future.
You say to Kip and Abby.
It's pretty, like me,
Abby declares.
I'm taking it down to get a closer look.
She stands on tiptoe and lifts the square clock down. You all gather around to see. The shimmering silver hologram clock face has 3 smaller clock faces on it. One is silvery green with wavy silver hands. One is hot pink with straight black hands. The last one is fiery orange with no hands at all.
They're set to different times.
You notice. You check your watch. It's 1 a.m. You decide to reset the funny clock faces to the correct time. To turn the hands on the green clock, go to page 5. Pink clock first, go to page 109. If you're fascinated by the orange clock face instead, turn to page 68.
I mean, putting myself in the situation, I would definitely sate my fascination with the handless fiery orange clock before moving on to a setting.
Well, because the other one's like, why would we pick green over pink? Just the only thing would be I like green more than I like pink, or I like pink more than I like green. The orange one has like some kind of like, there's something at least unique about it to draw me towards it as well.
Exactly.
Let's do it. The middle clock face has no hands, so you can't reset the time. You study this orange clock face for a moment, and you decide not to play with it now. Instead, you slip the whole clock under your sweatshirt.
This might be a handy tool that comes in useful later.
You say to Kip and Abby.
You never know when we might need more time.
Oh, as soon as you say yes. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Mm-hmm. We made sure to take time.
Exactly. As soon as you say the word time, every clock in this clock-filled room strikes the hour.
Tick tock on the clock and the body don't stop.
Absolutely. The noise is almost unbearable. You try and cover your ears, but you only have one hand free. It's like the clocks are striking back. It's like they're angry at you for taking one of them. You tighten your grip on the 3-face clock and head for the exit door.
Let's get out of here.
You shout to the others.
Hurry!
Turn to page 7. What the hell? You slam yourself against the door at the back of the room full of clocks. It won't budge.
Push harder!
Abby yells over the deafening sounds of all the clocks. The 3 of you lean your shoulders into the door and push. One more hard shove and it springs open.
Yay!
You all cheer together as you fall through the doorway onto a long spiral slide. You hang on to each other. You're speeding down some massive slide to some deeper, darker place. It's as if you're on a roller coaster into the unknown.
Whee!
Slide on down to page 69.
Whee!
Abby still yells. Her hair flies out behind her as you zoom faster and faster down the spiraling slide. The force of the wind in Kip's face pulls his cheeks back in a permanent smile. Faster and faster you go, around and around.
Whee!
Changes to...
Whoa!
As you're starting to feel sick. You wonder if this ride will ever end. You try and keep your chin against your cheek so the wind doesn't toss your head back. You try to swallow so you don't throw up. It's almost more than you can take. Then you notice the spirals are getting tighter. 2 more vicious spins and then wham! You slam to a stop. Your head is spinning, your ears are ringing, your nose is pressed up against a wall of glass.
Where were we now?
Kip manages to say. You're not sure you want to know the answer, but above you, you see 2 buttons. One says heads, the other says tails, spelled Tales.
Yes. I guess we've got to choose.
You announce.
I'm not choosing.
Kip declares.
Leave me alone.
Is all Abby can say. You reach into your pocket and pull out a coin. Flip a coin to help you decide which button to push. If you push heads, turn to page 103. If you push tails, Tales, turn to page 26.
I mean...
To be fair,
yeah.
One of them, it says flip a coin to help you decide if you push heads, turn to page 103. That's one thought. technically we could it's then separated. If you push tails, turn to page 26. It seems like a different thought. So if we want to, it seems like in order to push heads, we have to flip a coin and get heads. But if we want to push tails, it kind of seems like we could just do it.
It does to me as well, right? Like they're not connected. I honestly would have interpreted this as like, do you want to flip a coin? If you do, if you're taking this as heads and tails, then press heads. But if you think tails might mean something other than tails in this situation, because it's spelled differently, press tails.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's why I almost think, I mean, I'm not trying to metagame it, but when they've done this in the past, it would say otherwise turn to page 26.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they've done this in the past. So it almost feels like it's trying to let you do that. But I don't know. I'm not trying to cheat on this book. So,
I think we should push tails.
Do you have a coin? For what it's worth?
Not near me.
Google coin flip. I think. Let me just see. I'm flipping. I got tails anyways. We're clear.
Easy. We're justified 2 ways.
We're justified 2 ways.
Oh!
You push the button that says tails. Immediately, the 3 of you are back in your house and about to hear one of the greatest tales ever told. Go to page 4. Oh.
The tale? What tale?
I mean,
we need to make clear what's happened here. The tale? What tale?
Yep. You ask.
The legend of the curse of the knight in screaming armor.
Kip answers.
Years ago, an evil sorceress got angry at this king's best knight, Sir Edmund Saxon, our ancestor. He killed a favourite dragon or something. Anyway, she put a curse on him. The curse of the evil knight in screaming armor. And this is a repetition of a page we have read before.
We've been here. Let me flip this coin until I get heads. Google coin flip. Let me see. Flipping. Oh, okay, that was easy. I got heads.
I do wonder if we're being saved here. But what does heads give us? What page are we on?
103.
103.
I thought it was going to be like, we were going to get... I thought we were going to get told a story, but I thought heads would be like, you lose your heads.
Yeah,
chop,
exactly.
Chop. But...
Absolutely. And although... I gotta say, this is a pretty savvy tactic on behalf of R.L. Stine. He's really increased the playtime of his book. It's really, really good. Yeah, it's gonna get a lot more value for money when people buy it.
Absolutely. Your coin landed on heads. Yep. So heads it is. You push the button, the glass wall slides open to a low ceilinged room. A sign above the door warns you to watch your head. You duck down slightly as you enter a room with rows and rows of shelves lined with heads from medieval times. There are women's heads, men's heads, and even weird heads of beasts.
How strange.
Abby gasps.
They look so real.
Kip says. He's pretty scared.
They're just mannequin heads.
You laugh a little nervously.
Probably the museum uses them in exhibits to model old hats and stuff. You might be right.
Abby says as she walks along one of the rows and rows of heads. She stops in front of one of them and smiles. Looks like the head of a queen.
Now there's something I could get myself into. Check out the diamonds on that tiara. I wouldn't mind modeling that myself.
What you see next makes your eyes bulge.
Abby!
You sputter.
What happened?
Follow Abby's head to page 79.
Oh.
Ooh. Where the queen's head was, Abby's head now rests. On Abby's neck, the queen's head straightens itself and stares right at you. The new Queen Abby stands peering at a glass door trying to catch her own reflection. Kip hasn't noticed what's happened to Abby yet, but he's busy making faces at a hideous gargoyle head along the wall. The grotesque, bald, wide-mouthed, bulging-eyed head is the ugliest in the room.
A face only a mother could love.
I bet that won't bite you in the butt. Kip jokes, gazing into the monster's beady little eyes. In a flash, the gargoyle's head changes places with Kip's. You watch in stunned amazement as Kip the gargoyle turns on Abby the queen.
Ugh.
Says Kip.
Ah!
The startled Queen Abby screams.
Guards! Off with his head! Off with his head!
A whole row of royal guards' heads spring to life. Oh, the helmeted sentries cry out from their stands.
Save the queen! Save the queen!
With one quick motion, the whole row of guards' heads tip forward and roll onto the floor. They regroup into formation and start rolling at full force towards Kip. In seconds, he'll be buried in heads. If you use your head to help Kip, turn to page 30. If you use someone else's head to help Kip, turn to page 11.
I think both of these might be correct. Like, using our head is just going to be thinking around the situation a little bit, but using someone else's head might... Actually, using someone else's head might just be an evil end. Like, we look at someone and go, oh, can you help us? And then they just take over our body, and that's the end. So, maybe we use ours.
I think that's valid. I think let's use ours. It seems... Again, it seems like this book has been largely pretty cut and dry in terms of, like, do the thing that seems right, and it will work out generally, with, like, very minor exception.
Very true.
Your mother always told you to...
Use your head.
Now's your chance. Quick, before Kip loses his. Seems that all you have to do is switch your head in this crazy... Wait, all you have to do to switch your head in this crazy room is stare into the eyes of another. Without a moment to lose, you move in front of Queen Abby. You look directly into her eyes and...
Guards!
You shout a second later.
Return to your headstands at once.
Now you are the queen with the diamond tiara, and the guards must obey you. The rolling heads of the guards reverse their rolling direction immediately. Keeping their formation, they roll back to their headstands and plant themselves on the shelf. Kip is safe. All is well, except for one little problem. Abby has your head on, you look like a queen, and Kip is a hideous, snarling gargoyle. Any idea how to fix this mess? Maybe if you put your heads together, you might come up with something. Turn ahead to page 8.
Hey. I like that it bolds that, just in case you were going to miss the pun.
I know, like, please, please. This is my favorite part of the book. Please, it's bold. Don't miss it. Page 8. All this head-switching business is giving you a royal headache, and you still have the head of a queen. This can't be the way it all ends. You as a queen, Abby as you, Kip as a drooling gargoyle. You think of the missing armor, the suit of Sir Edmund and the good knight. You think of the pieces of parchment you found, the clues along the way. Surely you're destined to find the armor. What does the parchment say? Before the break of day brings light, one good shall fight one evil knight. If not, the evil knight will destroy all that is good. That can't be good for you.
Ring.
Ring. Somewhere you hear a clock strike. Sounds like it's far away. And what's that tickling your belly? It's a clock. The clock, not far away. It's under your sweatshirt. You pull it out and look at it. Both the green and pink clocks say 6 a.m. The sun will be up soon. As if on cue, all the heads in the room start screaming. And this room has a lot of heads. Even Abby and Kip, or what's left of them, scream. Before the break of day brings light, you think. You're running out of time. Already you can hear the chilling laughter of the knight in screaming armor closing in. If time is on your side, turn to page 25. If time is against you, turn to page 14. What?
Before the break of day brings light, one good shall fight one evil knight.
Time is on your side or against you. I mean, it's under our sweatshirt. Is it trying to be like, where is it in relation to our body? Is it trying to be cheeky?
I'm not certain. I think it's trying to do the kind of like double bluff of use your head, think, versus use your head, the physical object in this instance. And it's trying to like invoke a colloquial, like if time is on your side, for a double meaning. But the thing is, like, we know that we have the clock under our sweatshirt. It even mentions that in the text. Time is technically against us, I guess, right now, because we need the good knight in order to fight the evil knight before the break of day brings light, and that's about to happen soon. But it's about to happen soon. It hasn't happened yet. Does that mean time still is on our side? I don't know.
I feel like it, again, under the same, if we're playing the book the way we've been doing it and just being like, pick the optimistic good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we just say time is on our side. Like we have not been led astray still by just like do the logical thing, which is surprising to not be bamboozled and made look a fool by doing, the obvious thing. It's surprising that hasn't happened yet. I'm ready to.
Yeah, I do wonder if Goosebumps is now saving as many negative ends as possible for you missed a puzzle piece that we were attempting to give you, and therefore don't have as many of them just be random dead ends early on.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, I'd prefer that. But, yeah. 25? Give it a shot?
Yep.
All right, time is on your side. Without even thinking, you turn back the hands on the silvery green clock face. You're careful not to move them too much. Time goes in reverse, but only a few minutes. You watch in fascination as the last few minutes are rewound. Heads pop on and off until you're all back to normal, and you're back where you started again. Your heads are spinning, your ears are ringing, your noses are pressed up on a wall of glass. You see the two buttons. One says heads, the other says tails. You reach in your pocket and take out a coin.
So it gives us the exact same prompt as previously, which is flip on the first one, and then if you push heads, then a second disjointed clause. If you push tails, go to page 26. Although tails previously was page 4, now it's page 26, and I think heads was 103, and it is 103.
They are both the same, actually. I checked back. I have that page open still.
Oh, as in
they
tails
are both the same.
Oh.
Tails is 26, and heads is 103. So it is a It is a time loop, like just straight up.
Oh, I see. I mean, but now we have future information that we get to bring back into the past. Maybe what we want to do is actually go hear the tale and then make a different decision.
Could be the case, or if we go through and say that time is against us. That's the other option. Those are I think, is that the only, or I guess we didn't use someone else's head. So I mean, yeah, there's a couple options then.
There are a fair few.
Shoot.
I'm happy with either of these. But the thing is, if we push heads, we are just going back onto this path and immediately have to choose another option after the fact. So it's either we push tails here and then try and backtrack from that point to a different decision make, or move one back from here to time is not on our side. I think we should do that because I think it's possible that time is not on our side kills us, and then this says like, hey, you were supposed to go back to the start of the book with the information you had in the future.
Do you want to try?
Sure. Yeah. Do you know which page would be that?
Or time is against you?
Yes.
That'd be page 14.
14.
For what it's worth, I believe it, but I kind of want to get an ending over here before it's like, all right, let's start over, basically.
Yeah, I think like our conception of the possibility of a Goosebumps story being, huge, but, the idea of it looping back and then diverting into another huge path is failing here because I think it intends you to loop back because 2 different times it's been like, go back to the past.
Yeah. All right, well, the clock under your sweatshirt is ringing wildly, louder and louder. The heads on the shelves stare at you. Rows and rows of heads with gaping mouths screaming at you. Your heart knocks against your ribs. Your pulse begins to race.
Help!
You shout. But no one hears you over the shrieking heads. You shut your eyes, but they're not really yours. Your head still looks like a queen.
Hell yeah.
Is your time up? That's up. That's it, you think? Time. It strikes you. You've got to use the clock. You've reached under your sweatshirt and pull out the 3-face clock.
The orange clock face.
You mutter to yourself.
This must be the time to use it.
You touch it with your finger, and it's the last thing you do. The green clock face moved time backwards. The pink moves it forward, and the orange stops it cold. You always wondered how it would end, and now you do. No, now you do know. Just like this, forever and ever, it looks like time has run out for you. The end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I guess we know that. We know that green moves time backwards and pink moves it forwards. Now
We do now,
like
yes.
we just gained intel for the clock path at the very least. Like,
If we
so-
decide that we need to go forward or backwards in time, specifically at that instant, yeah, definitely.
so
Uh,
green forward, pink back. I mean, all right. So where do you want to head back to? Turn to page
So,
26 to hear the tale.
Yeah, so 26 takes us back to 4. 4 then takes us to Kip explaining the legend of the Curse of the Knight in Screaming Armor. If we're comfortable making the choice to go for the Good Knight after that rather than the Evil Knight, then I think we can just, divert relatively early on. But if we're going for the Evil Knight, we might want to just, skip ahead and summarize the path that we're on.
Sure. I mean, I'm down to. I don't know. So we did not try. We never tried to open the Evil Knight crate.
We never intentionally tried to, but it got angry when we intended to open the Good Knight crate instead.
Okay.
I wonder maybe if they're
Well-
mislabeled and the Good Knight is getting angry because no, you're unleashing him or something like that. And that's what'll be proposed in the other path here. Also, one final thing is when time loops start getting invoked, usually it also wants you to pay a special attention to some of the details that are back in the previous area of the time loop. So there's an evil sorceress, the king killed the best dragon or something, got a curse on them. Cries were heard from the Saxon castle, Sir Edmund and all the family had been killed, and the one son was out hunting, he kept the armor.
All right. So what do you think? Evil Knight, or what was the other option?
So the other
Going
option would be
back to,
Good Night on page 113. So this is investigating in the night the sounds in the garage door.
Okay. Wait. Oh, on 131. So Evil Knight, Good Knight. I mean, I'm fine to just. I guess we can try the Evil Knight, just get more data, because otherwise it'd be like the next logical thought would be try and play with a different clock knob in the clock store. And
that's a while in
two-
the future.
Yeah. So those are the two reads I have. Are you feeling like between those Evil Knight for now?
I think so. So the
Or data?
the garage has been making sounds overnight. We have come in and decided to try and open the Evil Knight crate, which has been moving and is cursed.
Indeed.
Okay, the fun's over.
You declare. You move over to the crate marked Evil Knight and start to loosen the straps holding it shut. Still shaking a little, but the screaming has died down to a faint moan.
You really had me going there for a minute.
You continue.
Those screams sound pretty scary, and all that moaning and shaking? Pfft, you guys are good.
Kip and Abby look as if they don't know what you're talking about, but you know better.
Who'd you get to help you with this little prank anyway? My dad?
You ask. Your dad is just the sort of goofball to go in on something like this, too. You fumble with the leather straps, but you finally get them undone. By now, you're chuckling to yourself. Really was a good prank, complete with these oversized crates, still. You can't believe you fell for it. Speaking of falling, that's what the front door to the crate does next. It is also what your lower jaw does. It falls open. You try and scream, but all that comes out is a little whimper. There in front of you, about a foot from your face, you stare into the laser light eyes of the knight in screaming armor. Turn to page 16.
If you dare.
If you dare! The Evil Knight's head is a steaming hunk of black metal. A sparkling medallion hangs around his neck. Something about his medallion holds your gaze. You can't stop looking at it. With you standing there helpless before him, the Evil Knight raises his heavy sword and he brings it down and slashes open the back of the crate behind him. The wood shatters like ice.
In the land of Saxtons you shall be destroyed.
His voice booms over you. You shiver. He glances back at you, then disappears through the new opening. You're not sure how long you stand there in shock, but the next thing you know, Abby and Kip are standing next to you.
Did you see that?
You stammer.
Yeah, no big deal.
Abby tries to sound cool.
Look,
Kip exclaims.
it's hole in the back of the crate. There's hills in it. Yeah, right. What's that mean?
Abby huffs. But he's right. You peer through the hole, you see emerald green hills and a pale blue sky. Feel the wind against your face, you feel yourself drawn into the scene like you were to the medallion.
We'd better go through.
You say without taking your eyes off the scene before you.
If not, we'll never break this curse thing.
You push aside the splinters and step through. Step out of the crate on page 119. Kip and Abby follow you through the hole in the back of the crate. When all three of you are through, there's something slams shut behind you. You turn to look and the crate has disappeared. All you see around you are hills, soft green rolling hills.
It's so beautiful.
You say.
It's a whole new world.
You rub your eyes, but it doesn't go away.
It's our world.
Abby exclaims.
We're back in jolly old England. It's exactly where the evil knight wants us to be.
Kip says softly.
England, the land of Saxtons. England. Who cares?
Abby says.
We're home. Don't look so happy.
Kip warns.
The evil knight wants to destroy us. We may be home for good. Or should I say, for evil?
You gaze around yourself stunned. There's no way to explain what just happened to you. Hundreds of sheep are grazing on a nearby hill. One wild-looking ram glances up at you, and your heart jumps.
His eyes are glowing.
You cry out. Your pulse starts to race. The horned head of the ram morphs into the armored head of the evil knight. He lowers his head and paws the ground. Steam pours through the grill on his helmet.
He's gonna ram us.
You cry.
Run for your lives.
Run to page 97. Led by the evil knight, the whole herd of sheep stampedes. Terror grips you as the thundering herd bears down on the three of you. You're about to be trampled. The stampede sounds like a sonic boom. You wrap your arms around your head and wait to feel the pain of 100 little hooves pounding you into the grass. So this is how he plans to destroy us, you think. You open your mouth to scream, but you can't hear anything over the thundering of sheep feet. Then suddenly, there's nothing but the sound of screaming. Your own screaming. You peek through your arms. The stampeding herd is gone. The hills are gone, and all that's left are prickle bushes. You're buried in prickle bushes, and they hurt. Turn to page 132.
Ouch!
Abby cries. She breaks herself free from the prickly bush. You can't help but laughing. Abby's a human pincushion. She has little prickly leaves stuck all over her.
Ow!
You and Kip stay together as you fall out of the bushes. You find yourself looking like two porcupines, too. You hear giggles, and they're not Abby's. You glance over your shoulder and see something you've never imagined to see. Two miniature men laughing and rolling on the ground. Each man is about the size of a football. They laugh and smack their knees and point at you.
Pixies!
Kip
Pixies?
cries.
Pixies?
You say.
You gotta be kidding me.
You say. The little men disappear for a minute. They resurface in the bushes close by.
This way out.
One giggles, pointing to the left.
No, this way out.
Says the other, pointing to the right. Which one can you trust? I will say one is giggling, one's not.
Oh,
that's the only lead that I have.
I mean,
One is-
we also all giggled though, so. And both of them have been giggling beforehand. One of them's just still laughing. I think that's like a reasonable enough reason. Also, I have another reason to want to go right, which is like it kind of mirrors the other path, which I think might be important. The right side was the correct side when we were getting Kip to choose door.
I feel like, yeah, 2 points. 2 points to 100. So I'm down with giving it a shot.
Let's go to the right.
Kip says as he pulls prickles from his arms and legs.
I don't like the looks of that cottage over there. Why would anyone live out in the middle of nowhere?
A pixie giggles and the cottage disappears.
Now it's over there, not over there.
The pixie laughs.
Do you like it over here?
The cottage magically appears behind you.
Or do you like it over here?
Another pixie giggles as the cottage turns up on your left.
Over here, over there, it doesn't really matter where.
The two pixies sing together.
Where you are is where you're not, when a pixie spell you've got. You can take the chance to hide.
One sings, pointing to the magic cottage.
The wicked one won't look inside.
The other one sings. The sudden shrill shriek of the evil knight sets your feet running.
If the evil knight destroys us before we can break the curse, no Saxton will ever be safe.
You pant as you run.
He's coming. Hurry. We've got to hide in that cottage over there, like it or not.
Run to the cottage on page 82. There's no option. You run where the cottage is, but it's no longer there. Those nasty pixies keep moving it.
Over here.
The pixies giggle.
Over there. Over here. Over there. Over here. Over there. Over here.
Run until you drop on page 104.
It's no use.
Abby complains breathlessly after running first one way and then the other.
The cottage is never where it seems to be. I'm too tired to run anymore. So am I.
Kip says, collapsing on the ground next to his sister.
We'll just have to take our chances with the knight in screaming armor. I need some sleep. No, we can't sleep.
You say.
I'm tired too, but if we sleep, the evil knight will destroy us.
Everything is quiet now. You fight sleep. Abby and Kip fight it too. But you can see they're losing. They both fall into a deep sleep. Only you are awake to stand guard. A cloud rolls over the moon. It's impossible to see anything. Behind you, a crackling of underbrush signals a footstep.
Who goes there?
You shout into the darkness. No answer. The footsteps crush the bush again. You hear breathing closer, closer, slowly. You reach a hand out in front of you. In total darkness, your fingers touch metal. Go to page 37.
Ah!
You scream when your fingers touch metal.
Wake up!
You hear Kip's voice saying.
You're screaming!
Abby shakes your arm.
Wake up!
Your eyes flutter open. Your hands rest on the cold metal of a shovel hanging in your garage wall.
You've been sleepwalking.
Kip says.
We heard you screaming, so we ran to your bedroom. You got out of bed, put on a robe, and walked out here to the garage. We followed just to make sure you were all right.
Abby continues.
You walked up to the crates we bought and just stood in front of them for the longest time. It was weird. We tried to talk to you, but you didn't hear us. Then you reached out your hand, touched the shovel, and you started screaming again.
Kip is laughing now because of the look on your face. You're surprised, embarrassed, and relieved all at once. Was it really all a crazy dream? Turn to page 120.
You really had us going there.
Kip says as he and Abby follow you into the house.
I told you not to tell those stupid stories about knights in screaming armor.
Abby scolds her brother.
You gave our cousin nightmares.
After a good group laugh, the three of you head back to bed. When you hang your robe over your desk chair, you notice little prickly leaves stuck to it.
Huh.
You say. Where did those leaves come from, you wonder? There aren't any prickly bushes around here. Maybe it wasn't a dream after all. You climb in bed and pull your covers up to your chin. Your eyes are getting tired. You listen for a few seconds to hear if any noises are coming from the garage, but nothing. Not this time, but before? You think as your eyes finally close, maybe. Oh well.
Good night.
You say to no one in particular.
Evil night.
Replies a deep voice next to you on your pillow. You feel a gust of hot air in your face. Romance ending? Oh my, the end.
The end. Well, I guess that's not the correct path. We appear to be murdered. What was our most recent decision point?
Pixie pointing to the left or right. So we could either go to the left, or we could attempt to figure out something with those clocks.
I think we should go to the left. I think like the minimum variation from where we currently are is probably the best.
32 then.
32. Let's go to the left.
Abby says, pulling thorns out of her arms.
There's a cottage down the hill. Maybe we can get help there. Hello? Am I the only one who thinks there's something really weird going on here?
You ask. Abby and Kip can't hear you. They're already walking across the windy meadow toward a cottage.
Pixies.
You mumble it to yourself. You take off after Kip and Abby. You don't get far when you hear a deafening rumble. It sounds like an earthquake. You see bits of turf flying in the air. You turn and look behind you to see hedges. Killer hedges. They're growing at an incredible rate. Actually, they're not so much as growing as they are bursting through the earth in jagged lines. Walls of branches and leaves, and it looks as if, they're heading right for you. It's time to start sprinting again, and there's no use screaming about it either. Now is time to move. Turn to page 27. Hedges are exploding out of the ground, fully grown. They're spreading towards you with amazing speed. You're no match for them. They burst past you, blocking your path. You try and stop short, but not fast enough to avoid a face full of prickles. Kip and Abby, too. Start to run the other way, but you don't get far before you come against another wall of the hedge. It doesn't seem to matter which way you turn. An open path is instantly blocked by a solid wall of high bramble bushes. Prickers grab at you as you run past. You shake them off and keep on running. You have to get out of here. The walls around you grow higher and higher, cutting the sky into blue lines. The three of you race in every direction, but it's no use. Goosebumps loves that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
You stop for a second to catch your breath. The ground beneath you starts to rumble and shake.
Ah!
You scream. You can imagine the hedge about to explode through the ground and up through your body. You brace yourself, but then it stops. It's quiet again, except for Kip.
We're trapped!
He bellows.
What do we do now?
Try and escape on page 78. You stare at the walls of greenery surrounding you.
The hedges are too high.
You say.
We can't climb over them. It looks like a maze.
Abby comments.
You know, Kip, like the ones they have at royal palaces and stuff. I wonder if there's a way out. We'll either have to find our way out or break through the hedge. I mean, we can't stay in here forever.
You say.
Forever?
Kip wails.
Knock it off, Kip!
You and Abby both cry. So what will it be? You find your way out, turn to page 51, or you try and break through the hedge on 116. I mean, if they keep blocking every path no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
The only way is through.
What is to say that this follows the rules of a maze, where it has like a contiguous path from beginning to end? This could just be a tomb.
It really, really could be.
I think we
kind of
should
like
try and
the
break
idea
it.
of attempting. Yeah, I want to at least give it a shot. It's no use trying to find your way out of the mess of hedges surrounding you.
We'll have to break through.
You decide.
It's our only choice. Okay, but I better not get a scratch.
Abby warns.
I've worked far too hard on this beautiful complexion.
The three of you turn your backs to the high, thick hedge.
On the count of 3, we ram it.
You say. You link arms.
1, 2, 3.
You count. All together, you throw yourself backwards through the towering green wall. You fall through, landing flat on your backs on the other side.
Hooray!
Kip cheers.
We did it!
Before you and Abby can add your own cheers, thousands of little animals tumble out of the hedge and cover you. Their fur is thick and coarse like spines.
I hate critters!
Abby exclaims.
Get out of my hair! Hedgehogs!
Oh my, you cry.
It's no use! They're holding us down!
Quick, turn to page 94. They're hedge hogs. Oh. Why? It's good. It's good. I like it. I like that one.
It's
There are
good.
hedgehogs squirming all over you. They jabber away.
They're talking to each other.
You mutter through a mouthful of hedgehog spines. 2 hedgehogs are holding a meeting right on your face. It doesn't feel very good. You manage to sit up. Dozens of balled up hedgehogs roll off you and then pounce on top of you again. The lead... the
You can
lead
identify it
hedgehog
immediately.
squeals. He was elected. 3 hedgehogs nesting in Abby's hair curl up. The ones on Kip's shoulders curl into balls and roll down his chest. Spiny fur balls roll out of your sleeves, off your head, out of Abby's hair, and even from the inside of your shoes. The biggest hedgehog says again. In a flash, they scurry back into the hedges behind you. What's going on? You feel a blast of wind. It's warm, not cold. You raise your eyes up to the hills. A dark mist is rolling down over them.
Hey,
You say.
we'd better get out of here. Whatever that mist is, those little animals were scared of it. Where are we going to go?
Abby asks. If you return to the hedges, turn to page 23. Was 23 one of the pages that we had already been?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. I mean, we just broke through, but also waiting for the evil mist to come and get us.
Mm-hmm.
These both sound like bad options.
I mean, part of it for me is trying to decide whether or not the hedgehogs are like correctly fleeing from this monster into the maze. Like, is this the only safe place from whatever that should happen to be?
Could well be.
Could well be.
I do like the hedgehogs. So... yeah, I mean, if 23 is not one of the ones that we've been to before, I'm fine to go to 23.
Let's do it.
The hedges. See what happens. There's no way you're waiting around to see what's got those hedgehogs spooked. There's no telling when the evil knight might show up again. Back into the hedges it is.
Anything's better than facing that horrible hunk of screaming armored junk.
You say. But the hedges have already grown over the hole you broke through. You try pulling the thick bushes apart. Your fingers are scraped and swollen.
It's no use trying to pull the hedge apart. We'll have to try smashing through again.
You link arms and turn your backs to the high hedges.
On the count of 3, we go.
You say.
1, 2, 3.
All together, you crash back down through the hedge. You land with a thud. The ground is awfully hard. You look around to discover the strangest thing yet. Turn to page 112.
What?
What is this book? Wait, what the hell?
We return now
112.
to the page of a choice between the evil and good knight by going to page 112 here.
When you glance around, you're shocked to see that you're back in your own garage. Everything's familiar. 2 giant crates stand in front of you. One's labeled as good knight, one labeled evil. The garages are the only thing that's familiar. Everything you're saying and hearing is familiar too, at least for a moment. Then it all seems normal again. Is this 4938?
49, I think, was the evil knight page, and 33 was the original good knight page, and then 38 is the second good knight page. Or, yeah, I think that's it, actually.
Yeah. So, do you want to wait and see what's coming?
I guess we
Run
should,
that one
yeah.
into the ground? Otherwise, clock? I guess.
Yeah, we're kind of running out of ways here. Wait and see what's coming. So that's page 74. 75, sorry.
The hedges are behind you. The green hills in front of you. There's warm wind in your face, and something is coming over those hills. A dark black mist is rolling towards you. It's already halfway to where you're standing.
I don't like the look of this.
Kip says. The warm wind picks up. Dark clouds gather. Dust whips around in whirlpools. Evil is in the air around you.
Look!
You remark.
Sooner or later, we're going to have to face this evil knight. That's the only way to break the curse, right? Only a Saxton can defeat him. I prefer later to sooner.
Kip starts to answer back. He never finishes his sentence. The scream of the evil knight announces his arrival. Find out what happens next on page 85. The evil knight's screams mingle with the whistling blast of hot wind. You can almost feel his evil breath mixed in with the wind. You know he's so close. The dark mist rushes at you. The force of the gale throws the three of you backwards against the hedge. But you don't feel the prickly leaves. You don't land on the ground where you were before. In fact, you don't land at all.
We're falling!
The three of you cry together, falling, falling, falling. If the chair you're sitting on has a cushion, turn to page 48. If it doesn't have a cushion or you're not sitting on a chair, turn to page 72. What the hell?
I have a wire mesh work chair, so it is kind of cushioned, but it doesn't have a cushion.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of in the same situation. I have a cushioned office chair, but it's not a removable cushion, but it is a cushion.
Mm-hmm. I think the presence of a cushion is going to be good in this
straddling.
instance. So let's go 48.
I mean, we're kind of straddling the line between halfway between cushion and non-cushion.
Mm-hmm.
Thump! You land on something soft. It's a body, a human body. Perhaps you didn't tell me you were sitting on your cushion was a human body.
My apologies. I did say that it wasn't naturally a normal cushion. It is
That
a
is
person,
true.
of course. Instead,
Yes.
please get off me this instant.
A regal-looking boy dressed in tights and puffy shorts pushes you, Kip, and Abby off of him. You all stand up and dust yourselves off.
Who are you?
You ask the boy. He looks about your age.
I am a page.
Answers the boy.
Page 48 in a class of 144. A page?
Abby asks.
What's a page? We are knights in training.
The boy answers proudly.
And we're trying to get away from a knight.
You remind Abby.
Can you show us how to get out of here?
Kip asks. Page 48 points to a gate that opens by itself.
That's the way out.
He says.
It's the Valley of Rocks. Hurry!
You order Abby and Kip.
The gate is closing.
You make it through just as the gate crashes down behind you. You look back. Page 48 is gone. All you see before you is the night sky and a strange, mysterious valley full of rocks. Take the risky, rocky exit to page 72.
We're going to meet page 72 here.
Yeah. I mean, is it illegal to jump to page 48 and see what it...
That was
We're
page
on
48.
Oh, that sucks.
I would have been entirely with it. That's like enough of a clue, I think, at that point to take that. But no, that was itself page 48.
Well, it's perfectly normal for this book to just loop back on itself. So let's go to page 48 again. All right, I guess risky, rocky exit it is. You've landed in a valley, but the green hills of a moment ago are long gone. In fact, there isn't a blade of grass as far as the eye can see at all. It's all rocks, broken up shards and boulders and stones. It's all dark. A pale moon shines up above. Abby tries to move and barely balances on a wobbly platform of stone. She shrieks.
This is like an avalanche waiting to happen. Be careful.
Kip warns.
These flat rocks aren't as steady as they look. Yeah, thanks for the tip, Kip.
Abby says.
I think we noticed.
They're right. The rock you're standing on tips and throws you backwards to another flat rock below.
Whoa!
You cry as your new rocky floor seesaws back and forth. You glance down. There's more jagged rocks waiting to catch you below. Next, you look up and something flashes. High up on a rocky point of the mountain, something silvery shimmers in the moonlight. Seems to be calling to you. What is it? Climb on over to page 28.
Where are you going?
Kip asks you asks as you carefully step off your rocking rock and onto his.
Look up there.
You say, pointing to the gleaming object.
I have a feeling whatever it is up there is something we need. I don't know why, I just have to find out what it is. I'm going up to get it. I'll come with you.
Kip volunteers.
Stop right there.
Abby orders.
Don't take another step. You're not leaving me alone. Oh yeah, Abby's afraid of heights.
Kip mumbles.
I'll go by myself.
You declare.
You two stay here.
Balancing on all fours, you move up to the next rock. You feel as if you're climbing on eggshells. One false move and the rock you're on could crumble away. You would tumble all the way to the bottom, so you test each rock before you move to it. It's amazing how many of them have jagged edges. Higher and higher you climb, and then you see it, a hand sticking up out of the rocks. Look closer on page 133. You peer closer at the hand sticking up out of the rocks. It's only made of stone. That's when you notice the rock you're sitting on has a face.
Ah!
You yell. The stone face is frozen in an expression of pain. You move to another rock, but as you look around, all of the broken rocks are shaped like people. Broken pieces of people.
Abby! Kip!
You cry, but there's no answer. You can't see them from where you are without losing your balance. What if they're turning into stone or something, you think? You call out again, but again, there's no reply. What's going on? Maybe they just can't hear you from down below, but maybe you should climb back down to check on them just to be safe. If you keep climbing for the shimmering object, turn to page 124. If you scramble back down the mountain to help your cousins, turn to page 35. You know, they both are viable, but I mean, we don't know where the knight in good armor is.
Mm-hmm.
Sure would seem as though the shimmering object would have something to do with that, but
it could, but we could also be in the world where like all of these are like kind of medused by the shimmering object, and this is just a mountain of corpses attempting to go to a cursed object.
that is true. I'm fine to help the cousins.
Let's do it.
Your cousins could be in trouble. Kip and Abby could be turning into stone this very minute. Well,
Don't move!
you yell down.
I mean, do move if you can. I'm coming down to save you.
You take one last glance at the shiny object. Rock by rock, you backtrack the way you came. It's even harder to move downward, but there's no time to lose. Mostly, you try not to think about what these rocks and boulders used to be. You set your foot against what used to be someone's shoulder. It jiggles under your weight, and then it flips up. You tumble headfirst down the rocky slope.
Ouch! Ooch! Ouch!
You yelp with each bump. Finally, you land with a crash at your cousin's feet. Turn to page 101 to see what's happened to them. You lie there among the rocks for a moment, your head still spinning from your fall.
Are you alright?
Abby asks.
We saw the whole thing!
Kip says with admiration.
I'll give it a perfect 10. You were fantastic! I thought you were turning to stone!
You sputter.
That's a good one.
Abby laughs.
We were just trying to keep still. We didn't want to start an avalanche while you were up there. Yeah.
Kip explains.
It's just like with snow. The slightest movement might bring everything tumbling down.
That's it. An avalanche,
Kip, you're a genius!
you exclaim.
I am. He is.
Abby looks amazed.
An avalanche. That's the way to get the shimmering thing. It'll help us. I just know it. And if not, maybe an avalanche can help us get out of this horrible place.
You explain. Before they can stop you, you pick up a good-sized rock and throw it as far as you can up the slope. Pieces of rock start to cascade down the rock face. You, Kip, and Abby scramble to the edge of the slope out of the way. Scramble over to page 121. When the rumbling of the avalanche is done, you brush the dust off your face and glance around. In the light of the full moon, you see a trench in the middle of a hill.
It worked!
You shout.
The avalanche has cleared a path! And look what I found.
Kip says. He holds up a shiny metal key.
It was right here under this rock. Kip, you're a genius!
You say again happily. Turn to page 134. The three of you make your way up the path and all the way up over the hill. Off in the distance, you see a cottage.
It's that cottage again.
You say. Then you have an idea.
The key! Maybe it fits the door to the cottage.
After walking on all those rocking rocks, the trip to the cottage is easy. No pixies change your path, no steep sheep stampede, and so far there's no evil knight in sight.
Hurry!
You call to Kip and Abby. You move quickly and quietly along the dirt road to the cottage. When you are a few feet from it, you stop to look at the cottage more carefully. Small 2-story white house with a thatched roof. A garden of petunias and snapdragons. Lines the curved stone walkway leading to the heavy wooden door.
I wonder who lives here.
Abby asks.
It's quite stylish in an old-fashioned way.
She peeks in the windows.
It's too dark in there.
She whispers.
I can't see a thing.
You knock on the door. There's no answer. You knock harder. Still no answer.
Try the key.
Kip suggests. You put the silver key in the lock and twist your hand. It said dragons or something.
Exactly.
So maybe someone stamped on the snapdragons.
That sounds
That's my
right.
lead. The silver key fits perfectly into the lock, but it won't turn.
I don't get it.
You say?
This key looks like it should go with this lock.
No luck. You put the key back in your pocket. You step away from the door to search for another way in. As soon as you move away, the door slowly swings open.
Come in!
The voice of a very old man invites from somewhere inside the cottage.
I've been waiting for you. Waiting for us?
Abby stammers. She peers into the darkened doorway.
But I don't see you.
Abby says.
Come closer.
The old man says in a friendly voice.
It's been so long since I've had some good company.
The three of you step into the cottage, and then the door slams behind you. If the slam makes you scream, turn to page 87. If the slam makes you jump, turn to page 105.
It'd make me jump more than scream.
It would certainly make me jump more than scream. Sure. I'm thinking like if I am startled, I'm more likely to just jump. I am a paralyzed. Like when I get in fear, I just get like I freeze. I don't
Yeah, exactly. And like
I go.
you do the fainting goat, just fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the social propriety of the situation would beg of me not to make a outward sound, but look very terrified instead.
Yes. So, the loud slam of the door startles you, so you jump 2 feet in the air. When you come back down, the floor beneath you opens up.
A trapdoor!
You exclaim as the three of you plunge downward. It seems like you're falling for a while. Then your luck changes. You land on a soft bed covered with a brown cloth.
Whew.
You sigh, catching your breath.
I don't know where we are, but I am glad to be away from that old guy. I can't explain it, but his voice really gave me the creeps. I keep telling Abby the same thing.
Kip teases.
I can't explain it, but her face really gives me the creeps. Don't push your luck, Kip.
Abby warns as she whacks him with a piece of brown cloth.
What are these anyway?
He lifts up the coarse brown sheet that just hit his face.
They're monk's robes.
Abby answers.
See?
She puts one on over her head. She looks just like a monk in a movie, or, real life.
Cool.
You and Kip try them on too, just for fun.
What are they doing in this old guy's basement? Shh.
Abby hushes you.
Listen.
The sound of low chanting comes from somewhere above you.
Do you think it's the knight in screaming armor?
You ask.
It sounds more like singing than moaning.
Tiptoe to page 123. You see stone steps in the corner of the basement.
We better see what's up there.
You whisper. You lead the way up the stone steps. Medieval paintings line the wall. Carved angels hover near the arched ceiling.
It's like a castle. It's a
You
monastery.
say. Abby corrects you.
Monks probably used to live here centuries ago. Then who's chanting in the next room?
Kip gulps. The chanting grows louder and louder as you enter a large dining room. Long benches are filled with robed figures bent over a narrow wooden table. The figures keep their hooded heads bowed. They chant over their meal.
There's no food on the table.
Kip whispers loudly. All the figures turn around at once.
Oh!
Abby lets out a startled cry. The robes are empty. Where their faces should be, there's empty space. They're ghosts. You make a break for the stairs, but you're all alone when you get there. Find out why on 135. When you get to the stone steps, you look back for Abby and Kip. But they're not there. Then you see them. They're walking over towards the table. What are they doing?
Come on, you guys, this way!
You shout, but it's too late. Their faces are already starting to fade. The chanting grows louder. Now you can hear what they're saying.
No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us.
They chant. Find out what it means on page 41. Kip and Abby don't notice that you're running out of the dining hall. They don't care. They reach back to pull their hoods up over their vanishing heads. Now Kip and Abby are chanting too.
No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us.
You race down a different set of stone stairs. A doorway at the bottom leads out into a courtyard. Across the yard is a crumbling
Yarr.
is a crumbling bell tower. As you run for it, the chanting monks hurry close behind you. They're not going to let you escape. They want you to join them too. You race back up the broken stone steps to the top of the tower. A rotting rope hangs from the black cast iron bell. There's a kettlebell full of some bubbling black liquid on the floor. You reach for the bell rope, and the ghosts stop in their tracks. They hold their thick sleeves against their hoods to where their ears would be if they had ears. As terrified as you are of them, they seem frightened of the bell. If you pull the rope to ring the bell, turn to page 110. If you decide to throw the liquid at them, turn to page 73.
It only makes sense to go to 110, right?
It only makes sense to make the bell toll for us. You pull down the rotten rope and it breaks off in your hand.
No bells toll for us. No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us.
The ghostly hooded robed monks chant solemnly. They've made it to the bell tower where you are. Abby and Kip reach their hands out to you.
Join us.
They drone.
Be one with us. No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us. Abby, Kip!
You plead with them.
Don't fade! Don't fade!
It's no use! Your cousins' faces are getting fainter and fainter. The chanting of the monks echo in your ears.
No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us.
You know you have to escape here before it's too late. Race to page 88.
No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us. No bell tolls for us.
Kip and Abby's voices raise above the others. You gaze into their transparent eyes and catch a glimpse of your own reflection. Under the hood of your robe, there's no face at all.
No bells toll for us. No bell tolls for us.
You hear yourself say.
No bed tolls for us.
Face it, you're a dead ringer until the end. Oh my god.
Okay, we need
Throw
to
the
throw
liquid?
the thing at them instead.
73. Throw the liquid. All right. You let go of the rope and rush over to the kettle. If you can only lift it, you could throw the liquid on the ghosts. That should scatter them. The hooded, robed figures make their way up the steps. They're getting closer. You're getting frantic. You strain against the handle of the kettle with all your strength. It budges a little, and some of the liquid sloshes onto the stone floor. It pools around your foot, and you slip. You fall back, arms flailing. You knock against the bell.
Bong. Bong. Bong.
The bell tolls. Would you like to ring the bell or try and pour liquid so poorly that you ring the bell and actually ring the bell? Wow. The monk's chant changes.
The bell tolls for us! The bell tolls for us! The bell tolls for us!
One by one, the hooded figures slump to the floor at the bell tower. Soon, they're nothing more than a pile of empty robes in a heap at your feet.
Boom, boom, boom.
You push the bell again. Kip and Abby pull off their hoods.
You saved us!
Kip cries gratefully.
Are those stupid ghosts gone for good? And those stupid ghosts are gone for good.
Abby adds,
Can you believe those monks? Get alive. And I mean, get a death.
well, you breathe a sigh of relief.
We're safe now.
You say. All is still, all except the flashing eyes on the other side of the courtyard.
Uh-oh.
You say.
Those eyes can only mean one thing.
Turn to page 52 if you dare. The flashing eyes across the courtroom, or courtyard, courtroom, interesting turn. Courtyard could only be one thing. The eyes of the knight in screaming armor.
We can't escape from him.
Abby sighs.
It's no use trying anymore. He brought us here. This is his world. You must want something from us. Otherwise, he would have destroyed us by now.
You point out.
He's only toying with us.
Abby says bitterly.
Like a cat that plays with its food. It's as if he's using our fear of him to make us face all our other possible fears.
Kip whispers mysteriously. Abby gives Kip a double take.
Face other fears? That's ridiculous.
She says.
I'm afraid of flying, but you don't see him making me fly.
A strong gust of wind blows through the bell tower and rings the bell.
Boom.
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 You clap your hands over your ears. Kip dives for the pile of monk's robes. Abby jumps back and slams against the crumbling wall. The wall gives way behind her and...
Help me! I'm flying!
Abby soars higher and higher until she's out of sight.
Abby!
Kip cries.
Come back!
If she doesn't come back, sort of page 92, if she returns to the flash zoom to 102. I mean, if she doesn't come back, what would that be? That would be like she Deus Ex Machina's later or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I kind of want her to return into Flash, and this is like we're discovering the our own influence in this world.
I'm down.
Oh boy.
102. In a flash, Abby's back, but she's not Abby anymore, at least not most of her. It's her head complete with long blonde hair on the body of a gigantic black bird. Nighthawk cap. Oh my god, this is like a Souls boss. Nighthawk Abby swoops down from the black night sky. It was capital and everything. Nighthawk Abby. She squeaks, she flaps her wings and dive bombs you and Kip.
Duck!
You shout to Kip.
Hawk!
Abby screeches from above. Then she swoops down on you again. You hear the flapping of her giant wings as she flies by your head and digs her sharp claws into your skull as you scream out in pain. Without stopping, she turns midair and attacks Kip with the same skull-cracking force.
Abby, it's me!
Kip pleads.
Don't do this!
Abby circles, ready for another attack.
Ring the bell!
You shout to Kip.
Maybe the noise will scare her away.
Kip reaches his hand up for the side of the bell. His fingers just miss it as Abby the Nighthawk flies between the bell and his hand. She opens her mouth and closes it tightly on the back of his shirt. With Kip dangling from her teeth, she swoops down over you and grips your shirt with her hawk claws. Get carried away on page 43. Abby the Nighthawk squawks through clenched teeth. She carries you off into the night. You only hope she doesn't drop the two of you. She's flying really fast. Far below you, see the bell tower and crumbled ruins of the monastery. Ahead, you see the giant's bird nest resting on a rocky mountaintop. Abby the Nighthawk hovers over the nest. She opens her mouth and Kip drops. Then she releases her claw and drops you. You hit the nest hard. Really hard. And before you know it, a thin white shell starts forming up around you.
We're turning into eggs!
You shout to Kip as the shell closes over your head. But he can't hear you. His shell is already closed over him. He's trapped, and so are you. Now all you can do is wait for the time when you will hatch. That could be soon, or more than likely, it could be never. For you 2 eggs, it's over easy. The end. Oh my god.
Good God.
So I guess she doesn't come back.
She
On
mustn't.
Page 92.
92.
She mustn't. Here's my thought. I think that we are on. When we went back, we went on a completely separate path, and I think that the clock room was a quicker end. Is my guess.
I think that's theoretically possible, but I also think that the clock room had like that one extra clue in it, and I think it's possible at the end of this we get another fragment, and knowing all of the fragments because we did both paths, I think that could still loop back in, but we're running out of time for this book.
It's true. It's
Kip!
true.
Kip!
Abby's voice is so far away now you can hardly hear her.
Wow, she really is flying.
You say in amazement.
You must be right about that fear thing, Kip. Come back!
Kip calls up to the night sky. But Abby's growing smaller and smaller against the night sky, and in another moment she's gone. You almost can't believe it. Just like that, she's gone. Kip starts to sob. You try and be brave.
We'll find her again. I know we will.
You say.
We've come this far together, through all this craziness.
A low growl from the stone stairs lets you know there's more craziness to come.
Who's there?
You demand.
Ah!
The evil knight's scream echoes out across the courtyard. The growl on the stairs turns into a howl answering the scream of the knight. Then a huge black cat-like creature with yellow eyes appears around the bend of the stairs.
Kip, over there. Kip, over there.
You say as quietly as you can. Turn to page 61. Kip turns and sees the beast creeping up the stairs.
Stay still and maybe it won't see us.
You whisper. Slowly, you and Kip press yourselves into a corner of the bell tower and watch the beast. You've never seen anything like it. It's as large as the biggest lion and as black as the night. Has short ears set back on a small dog-like head. A long swishing tail hits the crumbling wall, knocking down stones to the ground. The beast growls, rows of shiny white teeth drip with saliva. It turns fierce eyes in your direction, sniffs the air. It smells you, and a long red tongue licks its drooling black lips. It sees you.
It's gonna pounce!
You cry. The beast jumps for you, but you jump too, right over the wall of the bell tower with Kip right behind you.
Oh no!
You both scream on your way down. You hear a giant nighthawk passes you as you fall. The bird squawks again as it swoops down beneath your falling bodies. Fall onto page 95. You are falling fast, but not fast enough to escape the hot drool dripping from the beast's mouth. The beast leans over the edge of the bell tower wall. You get a face full of steaming spit. Before the next big loogie hits you, the giant nighthawk flies under you and Kip, catches you on its back, and swoops upwards. You don't know where this black bird of the night is taking you. As you look back at the beast, you know one thing's for sure. Wherever you're going has got to be better than where you've just been.
Left, right, or the rescue mission takes a turn for the worse.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't seem great, but...
It doesn't. I mean, with no information, let's just take left. It's the top option.
Great. The huge black bird takes a sudden turn to the left.
Help!
You yell. You tumble off the bird's back.
Help!
Kip cries as he, too, is thrown from the feathered back of the bird. Luckily, the bird is flying low to the ground. Unluckily, the ground is not ground at all. It's water. Splash! You plunge into the freezing cold water, and the bird screeches as it flies away.
Sink or swim! Sink or swim! Sink or swim!
Chant the voices of 3 withered old women standing on a nearby shore, and then a crashing wave sends you down into the deep. If you can swim, turn to page 45. If you don't, go to page 122.
We can both swim, I imagine.
Yeah?
Done.
Rhaps,
Boy.
I just forgot how to swim.
You just forgot how to swim, did you? Okay, what page is that on?
122.
122.
You sink into the deep, cold water. I haven't been in a long time. Maybe I can.
Yeah.
Deeper and deeper. Your lungs are about to burst from holding your breath so long. At last, you sink into the bottom of the lake and land in the mouth of an underwater cave. You motion to Kip and swim up for the opening. He's right behind you. Swim into the cave, through a tunnel, and up a channel to air. You exhale. You gulp in the fresh air. Kip does the same until both of you are breathing normally again.
Come in.
A familiar voice welcomes you.
We've been waiting for you.
You can't quite place it. Where do you know that voice from?
We've been waiting for you.
Turn to page 56. Then it hits you. You recognize that voice.
The cottage!
You exclaim.
It's the old man's voice from the cottage!
Now you can see him sitting in the rocking chair, and he's hideous. He has 3 heads spouting from his neck, and all 6 eyes are focused on you. A black bird screeches from a cage above you. A squawking bird looks familiar. There's hardwood beneath you now, so you step closer to examine the bird. Reaches up with its claw and flicks the feathers on the back of its head. An eerie feeling comes over you.
It's Abby!
Kip shrieks.
Abby's turned into a bird!
The black bird screeches back at you.
Birds of a feather flock together.
The old man cackles as he wiggles one bony finger in your direction. That's all it takes. Feathers burst through every pore of your skin. Your nose and mouth fuse together and harden, and you scream, but all that comes out is a... The 3 of you squawk.
That's it, my fine feathered friends.
Croaks the old man.
Sing for me, my pretties. Sing, my angel of music.
You all sing, which, when translated, means the end.
Oh, boy!
So it's either turn right or the mission takes a turn for the worse.
Let's go with turn right. We are very much Sideshow Bob in the middle of a yard full of rakes at the moment.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking that we need. All right, turn for the right.
Yeah.
Or turn for the worse.
Turn for the right, which is that page.
All right, 53.
Uh-oh.
The bird turns right.
Where are you taking us?
You call to the Black Hawk. Squawks the giant feathered bird.
We shouldn't leave this place.
Kip says worriedly.
If Abby comes back, she won't know where we went. Where we went. And if we stay in the bell tower,
You reason.
we won't be there even when she gets back anyway. That beast looked pretty hungry.
As the flying speed increases, the flapping of the big bird's wings drown out your voices. You fly in silence now, but you're just as worried about finding Abby as Kip is. Your worry time is cut short when you look over the bird's shoulder and see a rocky side of a mountain straight ahead.
Look out!
You scream as the birds head right for it.
We're gonna crash!
The bird speeds up. The mountainside is directly in your flight path.
Stop!
You scream with all your might.
Don't you hear me? We're gonna crash!
Turn to page 125. The speeding black Nighthawk doesn't hear you. It keeps flying, then the mountainside approaches, and then crash. Purple stars flutter before your eyes, and your toes feel numb. Darkness surrounds you. You feel your own arm just to see if you're alive.
I am alive!
You shout happily.
You call this living?
Abby's voice says.
Abby!
You and Kip both say.
It's you! What's happened? We crashed and now we're crushed. That's what happened.
Abby's right. The crash seemed to break the spell. Now you're crushed together inside the evil knight's crate. Back in your garage in America. Home.
It started when we entered the crate.
Kip says groggily.
A secret door, another world and time
And the worst night of my life. Ugh!
Abby squawks. She pushes open the door of the crate. You bang on it. Kip throws his weight against it. Or pushes on the door of the crate. You bang on it. Kip throws his weight against it. But it won't open.
Ah! Ah!
It's your scream coming from the inside of the crate, but you can scream all you want. No one's going to let you out. They've heard it all before, those screams inside that crate. It's just the curse of the night and screaming armor. A curse that never comes to an end.
All right, page 74, the rescue mission goes for the worst.
Unless the twist of the book is that the curse does never come to an end.
Oh my god. Is it only bad ends? Oops, all bad ends.
Oops, all bad ends. 74. The trip takes a turn for the worse. I mean, it feels fitting, to be honest. What began as a rescue mission is now a mission to destroy you. The giant Black Hawk zooms upwards. Black Nighthawk zooms upwards.
Hang on.
You shout to Kip. He clings to one slick black feather sticking out from the bird's back. The hawk swoops down suddenly. It's trying to shake you off. You fly to the side of the wings and your body flaps freely in the wind.
Whoa.
You yell. This roller coaster bird ride is making your stomach do flip-flops. Kip looks just as airsick as you feel, but it's not over yet. Now the hawk does the loop. the loops until you just can't hold on any longer. You let go.
Goodbye, Kip.
You call as you start free falling.
Goodbye.
Turn to 117. You're alone and still falling. It began as a fast fall, but it's now more like you're floating gently. You look up and barely see the Black Nighthawk. Kip managed to stay on the bird. Will you ever see Kip and Abby again? Below, you see emerald green grass. It's getting closer and closer. You can tell your landing isn't going to be deadly, though. The grass will make a nice, soft cushion for your fall. You float down, settling at last on a moss-covered knoll right in front of a familiar cottage. The front door opens. A voice whispers,
Come in. You are so good to visit me.
You have no choice. Turn to page 77. The voice is soft.
Come in.
It says again. Stand up, feeling dizzy from floating. You fall forward through the door. You're in. The door closes softly behind you. You breathe a sigh of relief until a steel-barred gate crashes down on the floor. The scream of the evil knight rings out.
Welcome to my nightmare.
He bellows. You turn your head left, then right.
This isn't a cottage.
You cry.
It's a dungeon.
Giant black rats scurry over your feet. Long-haired poisonous spiders scamper across their webs and hang down in your face. Heads without bodies float through the air. Clocks without hands scream out, chicken-like. A mud-slinging monster throws a glob of gooey stuff at you. You duck just in time and a thwack splatters against the stone wall. Lightning bolts zap in the air above you. Vampire bats fly blindly through the iron bars of the gate behind you. No, this is not a cottage. This is the den of danger, a hall of horrors, an alcove of evil, the final frontier. Turn to page 130. It's a dorm of doom, and you're the only student. A ghastly light shines from somewhere above you. The yellow glow slowly reveals a throne. On the throne is a woman. She smiles.
Are you the mighty Saxon who will fight for me?
She asks.
Me? I'm a kid.
You stammer.
Put on the armor.
The woman bellows. You feel something hard against your back. You turn to come face to face with a shining suit of silver armor. You gasp. One steely gloved hand holds a battle axe. The other holds a shield engraved with the Saxton family crest. Magically, the armor pops open. You don't know what else to do, so you step in and it closes around you. You feel taller and stronger than you've ever felt before. The battle axe feels like a feather in your armored gloved hand. You look out from the silver-faced mask and the woman on the throne starts to laugh.
Yes!
She cackles.
That is the way Sir Edmund looked when he got what he deserved, and I'm the one who gave it to him. I'm the sorceress.
Yeah, if you're ready for battle, turn to page 80. If you don't think you're ready, turn to page 64. I swear.
I think all we can do is fight, right?
Like, we had to be courageous. That was like the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's like the only thing. If we don't do that, then I'll be mad if that's wrong. The good knight's armor has armed you with more than a battle axe and a shield. It's armored you with courage. This dungeon doesn't scare you.
Show your face, evil knight!
You shout bravely. You don't have to wait long. A giant figure steps out of the sickly yellow light. It's the evil knight. He's taller, darker, and scarier than ever. His eyes shoot flames at you. The flames flames hit your silver armor and heat it up on contact. His eyes fire at you again. Sweat pours down your face and neck. Inside the armor barbecue pit, you're melting. The evil knight laughs as he raised his sword and swings it hard against your helmet. The vibrations from the metal on metal make your whole body shake. The evil knight swings again and hits you on the other side of your helmet. You're too stunned to move.
Fight!
Someone screams. It's the sorceress, the same one who created the evil knight and watched him defeat Sir Edmund Saxton. She's been waiting centuries for another showdown.
Fight!
She screams again.
Fight, fight, fight!
Take a deep breath and turn to page 54. You're dizzy from the heat and the force from the sword against your helmet. The sorceress's shouts are echoed by other evil creatures in the dungeons.
Fight! Fight!
Fight! Fight! They all cry at once.
They want to fight? I'll give them a fight!
You say. The evil knight raises his sword again and prepares to slash your suit in half. This is the hit that is aimed to destroy you. You take one heavy step backwards. You raise your battle axe high over the evil knight's black armored helmet. He swings his steel-bladed sword right at your stomach. Think fast. With a heavy battle axe raised over your head, you can't exactly duck. Instead, you pull your stomach back as far as it'll go. You turn yourself into a human question mark. A mighty human question mark. The mighty blow of the evil knight scratches across your armor with the ring, but it doesn't cut you. You still have the axe raised over your head. You lower it now with all your strength and then crash. In one swift motion, you bring the axe down on the head of your evil enemy. The knight in screaming armor screams, but this time he falls onto the dungeon floor. He lies there, motionless. Quick, find out if he's still alive on page 111. The knight in screaming armor lies silent at your feet. You can't believe it. It's almost too good to be true. The end. But it is. You turn to the sorceress and lift your battle axe in a salute to her. Then, thwack to your armored back. A powerful blow crushes you to your knees, sends vibrations ringing through the armor, every one of your bones. The evil knight is not finished with you yet. The armor you wear is very heavy, but you manage to lift yourself back to your feet. You raise your battle axe again and wait for a chance to move in.
Welcome to your nightmare.
The evil knight bellows at you. But you've heard that before. Back with, with a little bit of pillow talk. If he thinks he's going to scare you away, he's got another thing coming. And in fact, he does have another thing coming. The sharpened blade of your battle axe. It's now or never. While he's still laughing his wicked laugh, you set your feet, swing around in a full circle, and release this battle axe like a frisbee. Almost in slow motion, it travels towards his face and smashes into him and turns him into a burst of smoke. See through the vapors on page 136. The evil knight screams again, but this time his scream fades slowly away. Through the smoke, you see the heap of black armor shrivel up and turn into a ball of tinfoil on the floor. From the throne in the corner, the sorceress cries out,
No! All spells are broken! All spells are broken!
You watch in amazement as her throne disappears. Her sorceress's robes turn to rags. Her face grows older and older as you watch. The evil creatures around you shrivel and vanish. The sorceress is nothing more than a bent and withered old woman. The iron gate is gone. The darkness in the dungeon starts to lift. Then you hear pounding on the door behind you. Pound, pound, pound. What could it possibly be now? Turn to page 127. Find out. Kip and Abby burst through the door.
What's happening in here?
Abby shouts.
We heard terrible screams.
Kip adds.
Are you okay?
You sit up. That's right. You sit up and push the covers aside. You're in bed, back at home, at last.
It was the knight in screaming armor. We had an awesome battle, and I killed him.
You exclaim proudly.
I broke the curse and brought us home.
What are you talking about?
Kip asks.
The knight in screaming what? Oh, you mean that crazy story my grandfather used to tell? How do you know about that?
Kip, Abby!
You shout.
You have to remember, the evil knight was going to destroy all that was good unless a brave and noble Saxon could defeat it. Remember, we traveled to England and fought the evil knight. You traveled to England?
Abby says as she flicks her hair.
In your dreams?
But it wasn't in your dreams, and the proof is on your bedroom floor at Abby's feet. A small, crumpled up scrap of metal. You almost didn't notice it, except that it's steaming. Now you know that this story has come to a happy, very happy end. Oh my God.
Yeah, absolute marathon. I'm going to actually end up looking through this book after the end of the podcast to try and see what happened on that other path.
I think my educated guess is we go back to the clocks with some kind of data and work from there, because otherwise I don't know what it would be. Like, I don't know. I just don't know what it would be.
Especially because
I think we hard pivoted back to literally just the beginning of the book, and we basically just did 2 books.
Yeah. Pretty much. So 2 for the price of 1 on this one. Hey.
Yeah. Pretty convenient, considering I'm about to say the fact that there will not be an episode next week as I will be on vacation. So hey, hopefully this 2 for the price of 1 will kind of act as a holdover for that. But
rest well, of course.
As well, the other announcement I forgot to make at the start is, of course, we have a YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, or even if you're listening to this in, on whatever streaming service you want, we do have a YouTube channel that will be linked. I'll probably put it in the link, the description for the podcast part as well. But if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in a description or something where you can go see the dedicated channel for Turn to Page on YouTube. There will come a point where that will be the only location to get the video form of it, which is really just an audio only thing anyways. But there will come a time where that's the only place to get the video form. So make sure you are subscribed to that in case you're like, where the heck does it go? But not next week, because there's a reason why it's not here next week. But holy moly, this book. Wow. I mean, if we just did it and it was only this storyline, I'm trying to think of it as like, it would be a lot more like, relatively cohesive and logical-ish as far as the stories go. But dang, that other story that was just like, go back to the beginning. It jerked you around quite a bit, multiple times, just being directed back into an infinite loop.
Yeah, it did. I'm very, very curious as to what happens if you mess with the other clocks on that side.
Yeah. Well, we can think about that. We can look into that, and maybe we'll come back and say it later. Who knows? Because it feels like it makes less sense to come back to, like, if we do return to page at any point, if that ever happens. It doesn't feel like it makes a whole lot of sense to return to this one, because I think we did both.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, bada bing, bada boom. But either way, alas, that's gonna do it here for today. Unless you had anything else you think is important to say here before we close it out.
Not much at all.
All right. Well, then in that case, this podcast has come to a happy end. Bye-bye.
Adios.